Hello class, I'd like to welcome you to EDU 200 for summer session D term. I wanted to talk with you a few minutes about some things that I've noticed in the preceding week. But first I'd like to again welcome you and say that it's my pleasure to work with you as you begin your progression into your education courses here at Liberty. It's been a pleasure to teach many of those courses, and I'm glad to have you as students for this term. What I would want you to make sure that you're doing is that you've printed a copy of that syllabus and that you're following it as it relates to the assignment details. And there's even a course schedule in that folder where you can print that off, and it's a little table that illustrates what's due which week, so that as the summer progresses, and it's going to go by pretty fast, that you can keep up with all the assignments that you have out there. One other thing that I'd like, some students have a hard time finding actually what to do or the additional resources that are available for any particular week, but you'll always find, if you click on course content, click on the week that we're actually in, inside that weekly folder you'll see a reading and study folder, which sometimes contains extra videos that you should watch, or reading materials that you should make yourself aware of. And then there's an assignment folder. Inside the assignments folder is a list of the assignments that are due that week. Often it has a copy of the rubric inside, and again the assignment instructions are there. So each week you'll find that same similar setup for all your assignments. I would like for you to make sure that you're reading the announcements. They're posted. They become available Sunday nights of each week, although the new week doesn't start until Monday midnight. And I usually mail those announcements as well. I try to email those announcements either Monday night or Tuesday morning. Your grading will always be complete before the next Tuesday. So for week 1, your material was due Monday night midnight. I've tried to have everything graded before the next due date. That's what I have to do. I have to make sure that everything is graded before the next due date. Usually I have it graded before that Saturday. Sometimes if the week's pretty hectic, I'll have things graded on that Saturday. The helpful hints announcement that's been posted contains a lot of questions that I get repeatedly during this course when teaching this course, and so the answers are there for you. If you have anything or a question that's not answered already, don't hesitate to either email me or text me. In the faculty information tab, you'll find a number that's text only, and you can text me using that number. If you need a response right quick, then most times I'll stop what I'm doing and go ahead and reply to a text and try to help you out all I can. But inside the announcement area, there's also videos or one video I know that's posted that illustrates how you find particular journals in the Liberty Online Library. This week's assignment is to find an article in the journal Principal Leadership and use it for your post. What I find a lot of students will do is they'll Google Principal Leadership, and then they'll print this article off and they'll talk about whatever the article was about. But that's not what the assignment's asking you to do. What we're trying to determine is whether or not online students know how to navigate the online environment and find specific journals in the LUO library. So that's why it's important. You'll lose 15 points if you don't follow those instructions off the top of whatever score that you get when the paper is graded. So make sure that you're following that. There's also an attachment that gives you it's a list of steps to follow, so you can either follow the video or the attachment that's in Word form. Make sure that all your assignments, if they're papers, that you're following APA. Now, the rubrics, I've asked that be changed and it be added to the rubrics, because I tell students every week, I'll leave a note, follow APA, or missing this, missing that. The final exam, 3 sections of the rubric deal with APA. If you don't begin practicing it now, then you're not going to be successful on the final exam. You'll lose up to 20 to 25 points simply because you haven't followed APA. So from this point forward, video summaries, article summaries, papers, whatever it is you submit that's a paper that's not on a form that's provided for you, should have a title page with a running header following APA, which is Times New Roman 12. You've got 1-inch margins all the way around. You also need to look at how you reference things. on a reference list on its own reference page. You need to look at citations, how do you cite authors. Those examples are provided also in a sample APA paper that I have provided you in one of the announcements. One of your videos was about APA last week, so you should make sure that you're utilizing that material so that when it comes time for you to actually employ it, that you feel comfortable doing it. If you begin to do it now, I'll leave enough comments to, by the time the course is over, you'll understand better how to utilize APA, and you'll be required to do it in all your education courses. So this is the first time a lot of students have been exposed to it. They get frustrated with me a little bit sometimes because I'm saying, well, you're missing this, you're missing that, you didn't have this. It would be unfair for me not to do that, and then on the final exam you lose 20 to 25 points because you haven't been doing something all along. All papers, remember, must follow APA. It's important that you look at your announcements. It's important that you read the announcements. Most questions can be answered by following what's in the announcement and by looking at assignment details. If you're having problems, don't forget you may text me, email me. If it's something that you need a quick turnaround, I prefer actually that you would text. I'll stop what I'm doing most days and just go ahead and answer your question for you. I do try to check the email 2 or 3 times a day, but sometimes we get behind with that email, and it might be 6 or 7 hours before I get a chance to look at it. Whereas I'm texting, I've got my phone on me all the time, and if I hear it buzz, then I'll know I've got a question. Alright, it's been a pleasure reading your introductions. It's been a pleasure working with your first week's assignments. Remember, sometimes I try to be a little lenient, and there are some areas that I might not hit you so hard on in those rubrics. If I can, I will, but we've had a couple we've had one discussion board post so far, so after this one, you must have citations in each one of your posts. That's the initial and both replies. You may use the Bible, but the Bible can't be the only one that you use for that week's postings. If you have a citation, then you must have a reference list. Now, in terms of your reference list in the discussion board, don't worry about the format of it too much. You just do the best you can there, because sometimes Blackboard will mess that up. But in your written documents, your papers that you submit, or reviews, or whatever it is you want to call them, they're papers that you're typing up in Word. You have that title page, you have your body of your paper, and then you have a reference list. That reference list must follow APA with a hanging indent. The proper things are italicized and that kind of thing. So you need to make sure that you're doing that beginning this week with everything that you do. Later on in the semester, you'll have an application that you do if you choose to do that. You'll have a video summary that you have to fill out on a teacher that you'll watch. You're provided a form to fill that out in. If you don't use the form, it won't be graded. So when you're given a form to use, you use that form for the particular assignment. But when you're asked to write a summary, or when you're asked to write a review, then you assume that there's not a form provided. You use your own Word document. If you do not submit assignments in Word and I cannot open them, they will not be graded. After this week, there were a few that I had to send back and ask them to resubmit. But remember, that syllabus says that you should be making sure that you are using Word to submit your assignments. All right. Again, God bless you. I'm glad to share this week with you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thank you.